Oh yeah, I'm back. Yep, yep. We're gonna talk about a few things. For right now, let's chill out, vibe out. You know, taking a little break. You know, bars about shit. Same time, but we back with this shit. Just like to say, while I'm here, you know, shouts out to my sponsor YouTube. Go suck a dick, YouTube. Uh, yep. All right, let's get to it. Start this hack. There we go. Keep on changes. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, let's get into this. All right. Just so you know, it's live. Let it vibe out for a little bit, you know. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into this real quick. Anyways, let's get into this real quick. You know me, I don't have to wait for nobody to be up in here. We're gonna get straight into it. And we're gonna start with this bullshit right here. So, what's going on is like everybody seems to be ignoring the fact that Tariq Nasheed raised $1 million for the express purpose of buying a museum, or excuse me, the ultimate goal is to buy a museum, but the express purpose, specific express purpose for his Indiegogo campaign was to purchase land in Leimert Park, a specific plot of land with, and his ask was $1 million to help purchase a $3 million plot of land. Okay, that is 33 and a third% down on commercial real estate. He actually raised like 1.1 million. So actually it's a little bit over 33 and a third. It actually is a little bit more than that. That typically is enough money to secure a loan. Now you may need collateral on top of that. You may need some sort of business credit. There may be other contingencies. But with that money, typically you're doing quite well for yourself in the negotiation process of purchasing a piece of land. If you have a third of the value in cash, typically you're doing well. So That was what? That was back in August. That was before I had coronavirus. So that was way back in August or September that was concluded. And now we're in December, going into January of the next year. Um, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's a whole bunch of weirdness going on. There's a whole bunch of odd silence going on. So we're going to start a little bit with this one because the title is just funny to me. The title of this video is Getting Used to Not Being Used, right? So let's listen to a little bit of this and let's see with a mindset, right? Let me make sure this is closed. With the mindset, right, of like thinking about how one would analyze this so far as like, I don't know, Tariq Nasheed, right? Does any of these things that he's talking about here apply to Tariq Nasheed? I'm not going to waste my time listening to this whole thing, but essentially, let me say another thing that's what's going on here. So, what Professor Black Truth is trying to do is he's basically trying to get into daily vlogging. He feels as though, I believe, he feels as though um, putting out these moments of truths, um, videos daily will increase his viewership and subscriber numbers, almost like, generic daily vlogging will. And some of them have been extremely ironic. Some of them, like, have been extremely ironic when you factor in the questions, the unanswered questions about the Hidden History Museum and the situation that's going on with that. But we're going to listen here. This is I believe, the most recent one. He may have come out with another entertainment focused line of bullshit and dribble in order to catch people's attention. But I believe this is the most recent. So let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of it and see what he says.
This is the moment of truth. If you want people to like you, just say yes to everything. But if you want people to respect you, you better start learning to say no.
Like saying no
It's
to a
one thing
Hidden
to
History
tolerate
Museum.
some abuse. It's another thing entirely to be a glutton for it. Far too many of us are fond of playing games with ourselves. A few years ago, there were some gullible folks, desperate for a job, who told us all that Byron Allen was fighting some war for all of black people. It only looked like he was only interested in helping himself.
Okay.
And if he...
So I've already went into this a little bit. I think it may be the comment here. Oh, yes, it is. Funny how that works out. This is basically wrestling. What's going on here? So let me back up. I've already am on record of going after ADOS and Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore and their bullshit, specifically as it relates to this case, because this case affects me personally. But I've already went over the issues associated with this case, this specific case, and how basically it was bullshit, and how basically Antonio Moore didn't actually do any analysis of the oral arguments before the Supreme Court, and had he done so, he would have realized that basically his attorney, his being Byron Allen's attorney, made a huge concession in his oral arguments that basically relinquished a but-for standard when it came down his case. He basically said that uh, his his case was actually prepared regardless of whether or not the but-for standard was argued or not. And so that is one of the basic reasons why it was remanded down back to the appellate court for it to be, you know, um, heard or continued or whatever. But anyways, had he basically done his basic analysis as an attorney, as opposed to having a layman like me look at those things, he would have been able to analyze the fact that it was bullshit. He's going to go into the whole little steps of the Capitol, of the Supreme Court building. I said that already back in the day. Contemporaneously, there, night school teacher false. That at the time I was saying that basically Yvette Carnell was basically putting that shit um, on her Twitter feed, photos of the people standing outside in the cold, but her ass couldn't take a quick little drive from Atlanta to DC in order to be there herself. which would have been a little bit more impactful as opposed to her asking for photos just for her to post up. She could have actually been there if she truly believed in the shit. Um, but yeah, that's already been done. But this now, as opposed to this person actually analyzing and comparing the cultural store that is Tariq Nasheed, he is basically punching at low hanging fruit. They're trying to start this whole battle again between FBA and ADOS in order to shake people and rattle people into the Pepsi versus Coke self categorization, right? And it's bullshit, right? Byron Allen is a sellout, but that doesn't mean Professor Black Truth, the anonymous person that nobody knows, isn't a sellout either. And it doesn't mean that Yvette Carnell isn't. It doesn't matter. They could all be sellouts and just talking about each other, right? So he wants to go down this bullshit again, but let him go ahead and go down the bullshit. But keep your eye out as to whether or not, or your ear out, so whether or not any of this shit applies to the fundraising for the Hidden History Museum.
Lost his little lawsuit with Comcast, then it would be right back to the cotton fields for us. Our rights, our liberties, indeed, our very freedom was at stake. Who would have thought that a would-be media mogul trying to get some white media corporation to carry some of his insipid programming would somehow be an existential threat for the black community? It wasn't, but there were some folks who were sure desperate to make us think that it was. So these gullible people that I mentioned before, they used their little, I don't know what to call it because it's not worthy to be called a platform, but they used whatever little following they had to try to signal boost Byron Allen. And they told black people our world was going to come to an end if we didn't help this professional litigant hustle himself a contract with this big white media outlet. Now, the black media was trying to warn everybody about this. There were other people like Judge Joe Brown who were trying to let folks in on the real deal. Judge Brown himself had bumped elbows with Byron Allen, and he had some choice comments about it. But
that's what I'm talking about. Everybody's on Judge Joe Brown's dick. See, this is the reason why I asked that bitch, the Black Authority, what I asked him on that program where he doxed me like a little hoe ass motherfucker, like a bitch in his feelings, all right, like a bitch in church having hot flashes, right? That's the reason why he doxed me, is because I asked him. I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Are you for or do you support? Well, what are your opinions on Kwame Brown? And then I also asked him what is his opinions on Judge Joe Brown and all this stuff. I wanted to put his ass on the record when it comes down to all these things, right? So that he can't squirm away, right? So if you had Kwame Brown, that's what it was, Kwame Brown. If you had Kwame Brown and Judge Joe Brown on the exact same program laughing and yucking it up, right? And you have an association with Judge Joe Brown that you want to name drop like this little bastard is doing right now, right? You want to name drop him in order to try to get, some sort of clout, right? You can't really disassociate yourself from that person's associations then, right? If I'm saying this person is all the way 100% solid, then that means that their decisions to associate themselves with unsolid people is either now retroactively solid, or maybe that person isn't solid or isn't all the way solid, right? If I say that a person is 100% above board, but they also have an association with a drug cartel, then either that drug cartel really isn't a drug cartel, or they really aren't a straight up person, right? So this association with Judge Joe Brown, or this almost obsession with Judge Joe Brown, to just sort of, dick ride Judge Joe Brown to legitimacy, is without any sort of analysis, right? This is why a purpose is necessary, as well as an identification of this person is necessary in order to judge any and everything that he's saying. Because here's the deal. He wants to, in these recent little moments of truth, he's trying to basically somewhat kind of, reference reparations. But Judge Joe Brown is the one person who says that we shouldn't, as black people or as descendants of American slaves, get reparations because we may turn around and spend the shit on Popeye's chicken sandwiches, right? This is the same person that this little bastard night school teacher or night school substitute teacher, false, is trying to force down our throats. You know what I'm saying? As some sort of counterbalance to the Pepsi versus Coke battle between ADOS and FBA and B1, I guess is an off brand of one of the two. So just keep that in mind. But again, keep in mind what he's talking about when it comes on Tariq Nasheed, because he's talking about standards before we get involved in certain things. And I think that same sort of standards before people got involved with Tariq Nasheed's Hidden History Museum should have also been put in place. Just my own personal opinion.
Even so, there really was no excuse for not being able to see through this one. Now, some of these folks who chose to follow behind the gullible people I mentioned earlier, they decided to stand out in the cold in front of the U.S. Supreme Court building because Byron Allen needed the optics. He needed some support. People needed to know how important it was that
so
Byron
glad we
Allen
got this late analysis from this
that
asshole.
He fought the injustice.
It's not like this wasn't a year ago.
Naturally, some of us were a little skeptical. And not just because Allen has never done anything for any black person other than himself, but because as black people, we've allowed every Tom, Dick, and Harry who's come down the pike to use us.
Like
we let
Tariq
everyone
Nasheed.
demand things of us, and we never required them to do anything in return.
Like Tariq Nasheed.
People expect for us to do for them, and they don't just get disappointed, but indignant with us.
Like Tariq Nasheed.
Nerve to make any demands.
Like Tariq Nasheed.
Jim Crow Joe felt so emboldened.
Oh, okay.
He actually had the nerve to say, "If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black."
See.
I have to wonder how long it took Simone.
This is an entertainment channel. The reason why this is still on YouTube and YouTube, the happy to strike a channel YouTube hasn't taken this channel off is because this channel serves white supremacy. It is just an entertainment channel. It aimlessly advocates for, desperate political measures only infrequently in order to gain some sort of legitimacy for its message. Then gets completely off topic and just basically it turns into a topical commentary show. And then when it's not a topical commentary show, it's low-key. Well, actually, not even low-key, because he actually advocated for violence against the judge in the Rittenhouse case, right? So basically, he's turning black empowerment into a violent movement. He's the type of person that would advocate for another round of militarism within the black empowerment space that could easily be countered by law enforcement organizations like they were in the 70s and 80s, the 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's what his role is. That's the reason why his channel is not canceled, right? He's not talking about not a goddamn thing other than some top. He moved right on to Joe Biden. How about we talk about Tariq Nasheed? How about we talk about Tariq Nasheed? Shouldn't let me back up. Am I crazy? Let me back up. Shouldn't these words apply to Tariq Nasheed?
But indignant with us if we have.
Wait, let me back up a little bit further, because didn't he get indignant with people as well when they were asking questions about the Hidden History Museum and talking about I'm not gonna move when y'all tell me to move type shit? I'm not gonna build this when y'all want me to move. When y'all want me to build it, I'm gonna build it when I get ready. And y'all trying to put pressure on me ain't gonna do shit, right? I'm paraphrasing. I'm liberally paraphrasing, but isn't that what came out of his mouth essentially to his fans and audience and donors? And then try to basically say that this is coming from the goal of the Joloff sector of people, even though he didn't necessarily turn around and repatriate the dollars that came from descendants of American slaves who contributed to the Hidden History Museum. Oh, he accepted their money. When the foreign flags, I remember that in the last push towards the last little bit of money, Twitter was ablaze with all of these foreign flag people sprinkled in, donating and advocating for the Hidden History Museum. And I remember Tariq Nasheed saying, "Hey, hold up. If you're not a descendant of American slaves, you might want to keep your money." I don't remember hearing that, but when people started asking questions, it was like, "Oh, you Joloff rice smelling motherfuckers, y'all don't tell me what to do with my museum, essentially, and I paraphrase. But this little bastard, night school substitute teacher, false, has nothing to say about this individual. Let me back that up.
But because as black people, we've allowed every Tom, Dick, and Harry who's come down the pike to use us. We let everyone demand things of us, and we never require them to do anything in return. As a result, people expect for us to do for them, and they don't just get disappointed but indignant with us if we have the nerve to make any demands. Jim Crow Joe felt so emboldened that he actually had the nerve to say, "If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black."
How is that any different? How is that any different? How is that any different? How is that any different from anybody asking Tariq Nasheed questions about the Hidden History Museum and him turning around and saying that was, what was the little catchphrase he used? A disingenuous question or bad faith. It was a bad faith question or something like that. You're asking in bad faith. Automatically. Just because you ask any question, it must be that you're asking in bad faith, because you wouldn't be asking me questions if it was in good faith. What kind of twisted logic is that? But there's silence from the so-called, I'm doing air quotes, the so-called black media? Oh, again, does any of this shit apply to $1.1 million donated to a Hidden History Museum?
To make any demands. Jim Crow Joe felt so emboldened that he actually had the nerve to say, "If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black." I have to wonder how long it took Simone Mammy Sanders to come up with that line for him. But the verbal abuse was even worse from the black bootlicks sucking up to Biden, like Negro Jim Clyburn and Cedric Richmond,
low-hanging
who
fruit.
made it a point to just boldly tell black people, "Y'all don't need to be asking for nothing. You need to wait till after the election before you ask for anything. You just need to vote first, and hopefully you'll get something afterwards."
All right, well, is there a point?
This is what the white media tries to tell you and me is the black leadership class.
Okay.
People are comfortable with taking black people for granted, and the reason why is because, quite frankly, we tolerate it.
Like Tariq Nasheed.
Some black people are paid, or desperately hoping they'll get paid, to tell us that it's our duty
like you and Black Authority,
to be used by everyone else.
Like you and Black Authority.
I'm here to tell you it's not okay. If you want black people's support, we're going to check out your paperwork, and no, that is not asking too much.
Should we check out Tariq's paperwork?
There must be a standard.
Did somebody see the bylaws of his not-for-profit?
Back them up. If you don't have anything to do with us, if you've never spoken to us,
oh Lord,
you can't be bothered to have anything to do with us, you got to make sure you distance yourself from us, then we'll do everything we can to distance ourselves from you. Enough of being everybody's dish rag. Enough of being used. If the only time
okay. Well, let me let you finish that statement.
When you want something,
we
need to send you packing.
Awesome. Now let's go over here and look at Tariq Nasheed, and let's see whether or not Tariq Nasheed is asking for anything. Let's look at his recent video. Tariq Radio. That's a weird picture. That's a very weird picture. No, let's go here. Because I know that this one shows it. We'll bring up that one in a second. All right. So this is his not so latest video.
Are you tired of being overcharged and forced?
And we're starting with a commercial, just to be noted. Let's go here. We go straight to the transcripts, right? This is what I do whenever I go to a video like this. I go straight to the transcripts. Let's let it play for a second. No, we don't have to. Beautiful. Let's go find. Let's go museum. Okay. There we go. I haven't read this, or I haven't seen this, so let's hear what he had to say. Okay. He's talking about a Jewish museum. Go ahead.
Goes on and on about never forget. They got museums everywhere about never forgetting. So this is not true. There's a Jewish museum out here in LA on every other corner down there on Wilshire Boulevard where they never let you forget. They never let you forget what happened to them, rightfully so. What he's saying is BS.
Okay, so that's a whole bunch of nothing. Museum. That must be in the chat. Also must be in the chat. So he's not talking about the Hidden History Museum. I don't know where this is highlighting. I think it's in the chat somewhere. But it's not highlighting it here in the what you call it. So let's go back to the beginning of the video and let's try to see whether or not we can spot commercials. I'm going to try to speed this up so, hopefully you can hear, but I'm trying to speed this up and we'll go from there. So we have commercial number one. He's trying to sell you shit. Right off the bat, Tariq Nasheed is trying to sell you shit.
Are you tired of being overcharged and forced into paying a monthly subscription for your Mac and Windows software? Well, if you are, currently we're having a 50% off discount on all the latest Mac and Windows software.
Now I have a question. Is this commercial? This is a commercial embedded in his what you call it? This is not YouTube. So is this a black-owned business? Is this even a I dare to ask whether or not it's a descendant of American slave-owned business. But is this a black-owned business that he's promoting, Mr. quote-unquote leader of FBA or leader within the black empowerment space, right? Is this right here, this advertisement that is first on your channel, is this a black-owned business?
AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Photoshop, Microsoft Office, and much more. Our 50% off discount will be ending soon, so be sure to text us Need Software to 213-640-9738. That's 213-640-9738.
Wow. So this is just a commercial where you text the number, text Need Software to a number. You don't even have. Is there a website that you can go to for this, or? And it seems like you're getting a discounted rate on all of these. Okay, all right.
Please, so expect 24/7 technical support, the latest premium software, instant software links delivered to your email, and PayPal buyer's protection guarantee.
Okay.
The white supremacists use division as a weapon, dividing our families, our wealth, rewarding traitors, murdering heroes.
Another commercial.
Yet we survived. We fought for our reparations. Now it's our turn to divide and administer God's power.
Wait. We fought for our reparations? When? Did y'all get a reparations check? I missed mine. Was it in the mail? I'm sorry.
Sellers, a foundational Black American. I promise that nothing will come between us. Buy the sci-fi novel, Nothing Will Come Between Us. Available January 22nd. Pre-order.
Okay. So once again, now Tariq Nasheed's method of tickling your racism-induced generalized anxiety disorder and taking you on an up and down roller coaster and trying to trigger your materialistic complex of believing that shopping will satisfy some sort of requirement of counter revolution or protestation. Like you buying something is not a protest. you participating in capitalism in order to buy something that is overpriced and possibly from China is not a solution for your racism-induced generalized anxiety disorder, right? And so all they're doing is throwing catchphrases like reparations and racism and this, that, and the third. But ultimately, they're just trying to sell you some shit. And whatever they're trying to sell you isn't really going to improve your life. It isn't going to stop racism in America or institutional racism in America in any way, shape, fashion, or form. It's just selling you some shit on a local basis, right? So it seems like he's exported his sales tactic to other people, or it feels like that.
Online today at Amazon and Google Play. Spirit of1811publishing.com. Our story, our family.
Fuck you.
Racism is the most powerful system on the planet.
See?
It's often perceived as the
See?
most taboo subject to discuss.
See? Again, triggering your racism-induced generalized anxiety disorder. And are you going to try to sell us something? Let's see.
World-renowned activist and best-selling author Tariq Nasheed.
Oh, there we go.
Head-on.
Of course.
Foundational Black American Racism.
There you go.
This is the most important book you will need in order to understand the mechanisms of systemic racism. And how to
Yeah, but it's not going to do shit for you. I'm fairly confident you could find out that information from anecdotes within your own life. But if you wanted to actually find academic work on the topic, you can find that as well. Tariq Nasheed is basically a collection of anecdotes. He's not really providing you anything of any substance. He's not a sociologist. He's not a anthropologist. He's not anything. He's not an economist. He has no expertise in anything, in any field that would qualify him as an expert within that field in order to provide you with information that would otherwise require you to have an expertise in order to find. Therefore, every single thing that he's condensing in a book, you could probably find that out on your own, doing your own research or looking into your own life as a descendant of American slave. But he's going to try to sell you some shit. Again, triggering your racism-induced generalized anxiety disorder in order to sell you some shit. But where is night school substitute teacher false in any of these analysis? Or where's his analysis on this? Where's his analysis on Tariq Nasheed as a person who basically has opened up a cultural store and a toll booth to black empowerment? Where are they in criticizing this? Oh, they've already kissed the pinky ring, I see.
Get foundational Black American race data now. Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com.
Why? And again, how are you selling black empowerment through Amazon? Pause there for a second. How are you purchasing something that actually can help you defeat racism from Amazon? Think about that for a second. How? How are you ever going to defeat racism purchasing a product from Amazon? Get the fuck out of here. It's stupid.
At officialfba.com.
My name is Black Ice, and I'm Keith, and we're the Black Narrative. We are a Black First and Human Rights channel on YouTube that broadcasts live every Tuesday and Thursday night.
Okay.
Every week we discuss controversial issues and challenge false narratives that
We're
are
good.
mass media. We share research through videos and encourage uncomfortable conversations amongst the Black community. Look at the Black Narrative on YouTube.
Exactly.
Or www.theblacknarrative.tv.
Nah, I'm good.
All right, we here.
We here doing what?
Everybody come in the room. We're here right now.
We doing what?
Glad to have everybody tuning in.
We doing what, nigga?
To another exciting episode of Tariq Radio.
We doing what, nigga?
My name is Tariq Nasheed.
All right.
And I have on my throwback Fila tracksuit on. What y'all know about Fila? I'm rocking
Oh,
Fila,
Lord.
the throwback Fila right now. That's how I'm feeling. Glad
Oh,
to have y'all tuning
Lord.
in. Everybody come on in the room. Let me give people a chance to come on in. Listen, while you're coming on in here, I'm going to need you to hit that like button.
No.
Then I'm going to have you hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, ladies
Let me
and
make sure I'm not
If you're
subscribed.
I need
Hold
you to
on.
really hit that subscribe
Hold
button
on.
very hard.
Okay.
Wait,
Perfect.
get on up in here.
There we go.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking very 80s
Bam.
and 90s right now with my Fila, but I'm doing what I do.
Nobody
I hope
cares.
everybody had a great holiday weekend. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday weekend.
Okay.
I posted some holiday pictures with my beautiful family.
Who cares?
As did many people. We had a lot of Plebiscite Island trolls pop in trying to get attention.
Mm.
We had a lot of these Plebiscite Island trolls, a lot of these mostly non-FBA trolls who look for a reason to whine like a bitch. Let me say this.
Let me define plebiscite. The reason why he wants to defame the word plebiscite, right? It seems like, oh, it's a vacuous term. Plebiscite comes from, if he were actually doing a plebiscite so far as the Hidden History Museum, what that would look like is like this. For every dollar you contributed to the Hidden History Museum, you would have a vote in what the Hidden History Museum does, how it operates, how it pays, and so forth, so on and so forth. That is what a plebiscite is. It is basically a vote in accordance with the amount of it would essentially look like that. It would be a vote in accordance to the amount of money you donated to the Hidden History Museum. All right? So when he's defaming plebiscites, he's shitting on every single time he comes out with that word. He's shitting on the donors who donated to the Hidden History Museum. And he's insulting your intelligence because he doesn't believe you're going to take 2 seconds to look up the term. Right? He doesn't believe that you're going to actually look up the term plebiscite in order to figure out what the actual term means. Right? So every single time he does that, it's a little shot in those two directions. Every single time he says that. So just keep that in mind.
People is the most bitch-made, useless, pointless thing you can do. Nothing spells non-productivity than hopping on black people's pages whining, or just getting with black people and whining to other black people.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Didn't night school teacher or night school substitute teacher False say that, we're tired of giving to organizations only for them to turn around and be indignant towards us? Wouldn't this qualify as just blowing past indignation and going straight to open-faced insults? The fuck?
And most of the people who do that are really non-FBA because they do that back home. That's part of the culture back home. Just a bunch of niggas y'all just whining to each other. which is pointless. That's why you had to bounce. That's why you had to get the hell on from where you're from.
Again.
Y'all get around Negroes and whine to other black people. That is the worst. Because it's not only pointless, it's wasted energy, and basically it's a way to get attention. It's just some old desperate attention whoring.
Yeah.
If you notice, I don't really like debating other black people. Whenever I'm going in or having a talk, I like to debate the non-black people because these are the people who they're in positions over us. They're in positions over us, so we need to know how to counter their narratives.
No. It sounds like, oh, this is what Brother Neely Fuller says. Blah 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 blah. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna take a Let me see. Let me go here. Let me just go here. I'm gonna stop. Let me go here. Tariq, Nasheed, and Jesse Lee Peterson. We're gonna go ahead and go here because he referenced something under your noses, right? And y'all didn't really catch it because if you didn't do your research, you wouldn't know why he's saying that. So he just said, I don't really like debating you niggas. I like debating white people. His actual quote was, I don't like debating black people. I like debating non-black people. But let me tell you, there we go. Let's figure out where that come from.
Look who I'm with. Unfortunately, the show ain't gonna be live, so you know it's gonna be a lot of fuckery. They're gonna edit out. So I'm just shouting everybody out. A lot of shit y'all not gonna see. But it's gonna be interesting. I love Jesse. Y'all don't call him a coon. No, he's not. Y'all personally attacking this brother, calling him a damn coon. This is gonna be a very good conversation. So hopefully they don't edit this out. All right, we'll be back. All right, here we go. Let's get it.
Blah blah blah.
Dominate, control, and mistreat people classified as non-white, and we're dominated by that system completely globally.
How do you know that?
Because they said the people who put white supremacy in action, they specifically said that they were doing that. You go back to the so-called forefathers of this nation, and even in some of the European nations, they specifically said we're going to create a system of white supremacy where the people who classified as non-white will be the inferiors. They put these things into law, they put them into practice, and they put them into military defense. They defended these laws militarily, and that's where we are now.
And you said globally they've done this.
Globally, absolutely.
And so white people are smarter than black people, and have they done this to other people?
Yeah, all people of color. All people who are classified as non-white, they're nominated by white supremacists.
So how are white people God's chosen people?
No.
Because you say no?
No.
Then why were they able to sit down and make a decision like that? We're going to build a system that control all people of color. We're going to do this and do that, and then the people of color have fallen into that. So somebody had to be smart and somebody had to be dumb.
Yep.
And it seems to me that the people of color are the dumb one because, as you said, it's the white people who are making this happen, right?
I agree 100%.
And why not overcome being dumb rather than trying to stop the smart man from doing what he does?
Because non-white people are too dumb to get smart.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. See, non-white people are too dumb to get smart. So that's what he permanently believes when he's saying this type of shit. This is easy there, night school teacher or night school substitute teacher False. I did this in 2 seconds. I'm sorry. I'm sure you saw this video, right? Or are y'all pussy? Is that what's going on? Are you and black authority, are y'all pussy and you're waiting for an easy shot at Tariq Nasheed in order to, you know what I'm saying, in order to go after him? You're waiting for him to be outed as metrosexual. You're waiting for him to come out with, you know what I'm saying, some sort of weird association with a white supremacist, and then you can kick him while he's down. Are you two just pussy, and you're just waiting for an easy way of criticizing him? Because you guys could be easily criticizing him now with the information that's readily available on the subjects that's contemporaneous at hand right now, but you're choosing not to. I wonder why. Let's go back because we need to see the sales pitches that are going on at the same time. Let's back up. What he said. What did he say about
going in or having a talk? I like to debate their narratives.
Okay, back up.
Whenever I'm going in or having a talk, I like to debate the non-black people because
let's back up even further.
Then hopping on black people's pages whining, or just getting with black people and whining to other black people.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people who do that are really non-FBA because they do that back home. That's part of the culture.
Bullshit.
There's a bunch of niggas y'all just whining to each other, which is pointless. That's why you had to bounce. That's why you had to get the hell on from where you're from. But this thing where y'all get around Negroes and whine to other black people, that is the worst because it's not only pointless, it's wasted energy, and basically it's a way to get attention. It's just some old desperate attention whoring. That's why your family, if you notice, I don't really like debating other black people. Whenever I'm going in or having a talk, I like to debate the non-black people because these are the people who they're in positions over us.
No, you like debating them because you believe that they're on the same intelligence level as you. That's why you think that it's better to debate them because you believe that they're on the same intelligence level as you, because you happen to believe that you're on the same intelligence level as the white people who you've defined previously in front of Jesse Lee Peterson of all people as superior in intelligence to black people. Let me say this again. Somebody who is supposed to be in a black empowerment space went on Jesse Lee Peterson's platform and said openly that he believes that black people or non-white people are too dumb to actually overthrow their system, and therefore white people are smart. And I'm paraphrasing. But he essentially said that, and yet still he gets a pass and is allowed to be in this space. This is hilarious. Come on.
They're in positions over us, so we need to know how to counter their narratives. Because as our brother Neely Fuller says, they like to beat us down with words. So they're the people who are in power positions over us. So I give people tips on how to break down their words.
Tips, okay.
YouTube Live or Twitter Space.
Who gives a fuck?
I like to have the white supremacists on there so that you can learn how to debunk their talking points. See, that's constructive because see, when you're at your job, you hear those.
No, see, you could be a parrot of my. You could regurgitate my bullshit ass logic. You see, I try to go at the white people and go at the white supremacists, and I give you arguments that when you get at your job, get the fuck out of here. In the exact same type of situation, you could like break down 1981. You could break down, you know what I'm saying, all the sections associated with unemployment law discrimination. You could break down when is it appropriate to actually talk to an attorney if you feel as though you're being discriminated at your job. You could break down those types of things that are way more functional. But you want to talk, well, I'm just doing some tips. Right, I'm gonna do some tips for you to go ahead and regurgitate my arguments at your job and possibly get fired. Oh, you stupid son of a bitch. As opposed to handing out, for instance, this is just off the top of my head, handing out, for instance, to, what is this, 113,000 people? How about handing out information about, hey, when is it appropriate to actually talk to an attorney about possible discrimination that's going on at your job? What are some of the things that you should do, like keeping a diary, a written diary, right? That is admissible in court. How about you suggest those types of things, you know what I'm saying, to people in order to help them, you know what I'm saying, with their cases going forward if they need to bring forward cases of discrimination against their employer. That would be a lot more useful. But you don't want to do that because that would actually be a threat to white supremacy. That would actually be you giving talking points for somebody to go parrot some shit at work and possibly get fired is not helping people. It's helping the white people identify the black people who think like that so they can get them the hell up out of their organization. That's what you're doing, dummy.
Those talking points every day from those in the dominant society. And you need to know how to break those down, especially if you are a black person who happens to be you need to know how to debunk these people's talking points. Let's say, for example, you're on a jury and there's a bunch of white supremacists in there trying to play the word salad game. You have to learn how to break their word salad down because it might come in handy at a very pivotal moment.
No,
you know what I'm saying? You better know how to debunk their talking points
at
a very
God.
pivotal time.
No.
Especially in a courtroom in a jury pool somewhere because they have these white supremacists in these jury pools. And here's the problem. They don't have anybody challenging them.
Wow.
Because they get in these jury pools, they come up with these little asinine, weak-ass white supremacist talking points, and they just go with it. Nobody challenges it. Or they'll have some type of butter biscuit eating Sambo as the lone Negro on the jury, and he'll go along with it. Y'all remember out there the Walter Scott shooting, the racist?
Oh, see. Shut the fuck up. See, tickle. Your racism-induced generalized anxiety disorder. What is racism-induced generalized anxiety disorder? It's the anxiety that comes with being a descendant of American slaves in America. It's your anxiety when the police come up behind you and you're in fear that they may shoot you. It's your automatic knowledge that, hey, if I was a white person, I would be in a better situation. Or if I was a white person, I would be in a... That's what that is. Because it's your collectivized experiences associated with the negative impacts of racism in America on your life individually, right? And the anxiety that comes along with that, right? Tickle, tickle, tickle. That's all he does. So he tickles it, brings you down in your emotions. Then he tells a joke to bring you up. Then he tries to sell you something in the middle. Then he does the exact same shit again.
Help me out, please. What was that race soldier who killed Walter Scott, and then it ended up being a hung jury because they had one lone Negro on the jury, this big, juicy, moist coon. They had a big, moist coon as the jury foreman. And we come to find out, we looked at some of his paperwork, he had some kind of charges that they had on him. Yeah, Michael Slater. Y'all remember that juicy coon they had on the trial? And they had him doing all the splaining. When it was a hung jury, they had the coon go out here and splain, a big, moist coon, LGBT nigga, out here splaining. Well, a lot of folks didn't know what happened. See, you had to be there in the jury. See, you had to be there to smell it, to taste it. You had to see the gun. You had to feel the gun and touch it. Had him niggas explaining. You see? He wasn't in there challenging nobody. He was in there trying to find him a damn zaddy. You understand? This is why it's important for black people to know how to debunk these talking points. I don't like wasting time. What am I debating with another Negro for?
Wow.
It's like two slaves on the bottom of the slave ship debating, and we're still on the bottom of the slave ship.
Wow. There you go. There you go. Black authority. Or the bitch. And night school substitute teacher false. Y'all ain't got a problem with this. This nigga just said there is no constructive outcome from two black people debating one another. As if two black people cannot be sufficiently intelligent enough to have an adequate debate in the first place, and for the positivity, whether that debate is slighted to one person or another person, that debate having a positive outcome because it's just a black person debating another black person. Y'all okay with that, black media? It's just hilarious. This is the nigga that's under y'all radar that y'all ain't got nothing to say about. That y'all kiss that pinky ring. Mwah! And y'all ain't saying shit about this motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here.
That's why I don't really debate with other black folks like that. That's absolutely pointless. And plus, when you debunk Negroes who are just trying to be honorary or contrary, just for the sake of being contrary, they just get to trolling anyway. So it's so pointless. It's all about them getting attention. It's all, yeah, Dorsey Montgomery, that's his name. Google Dorsey Montgomery, for those who don't know. So I say that to say, during the holidays, you had some of these Plebiscite Island, non-FBA, coon trolls, all up in my social media complaining. You know, we had on holiday clothes, and, you know, we were giving shout-outs for the holidays, and we had some of these phony, fake outrage niggas. Hold on, nigga, you celebrate Christmas? Oh, you're not keeping it real, nigga. How do you talk about black empowerment and you celebrate Christmas? Now, these are niggas trolling. I don't celebrate anything.
Yeah. I have to say the same thing. If you are in the Judeo-Christian construct and you are supposedly in black empowerment and you don't realize that even the Christian religious holiday celebrating the quote-unquote birth of Jesus Christ, that basically is celebrating a white Jesus or a white image of Jesus, and how that actually empowers white supremacy, then yeah, there's a problem. Then there's also a problem of sort of the extension of that, or the commercialization of that into the, identity of a Santa Claus and stuff like that, right? There's nothing empowering to black people about the quote unquote holiday of Christmas. Not only that, but then we had these Xmas broadcasts by, night school, substitute teacher falls, and the bitch saying in a protesting manner, hey, black empowerment doesn't stop for the holidays. But this motherfucker is celebrating Christmas in probably ugly t-shirts. I wouldn't know because I'm blocked. I'm blocked by this bitch. I've called him out so many times with my fake commercial associated with this Hidden History Museum that he's now my parody commercial that he's now blocked me on Twitter. So I would know what this person is doing on Twitter. But I think it's very funny that these two individuals, the bitch and night school substitute teacher false, has nothing to say about this individual. Nothing.
By default, all of us are celebrating the holidays, and I've explained that before. By default, in the prison, you're going to by default celebrate. Whatever celebrate means, to define your definition of celebrate.
Wow.
Staying home with your family, is that celebrating? Buying presents for your children, is that celebrating? I mean, let's get the words right, because everybody's celebrating by default, because on the holidays, nothing is open. You're not at work.
No.
So you're at home with your family, if you have one.
His logic is horrible. No, it isn't.
You didn't kick open the door of Taco Bell and say, I demand your work. I demand your work. I'm not going to stay home and celebrate the white man's holiday. I demand to work. I want to work. And even if you did go to work on a holiday, you're going to get paid overtime. You're going to get paid holiday pay, even if you do have to work on a holiday. You're not. If you take that money, you're celebrating the holiday.
His stupid logic.
You're celebrating the holiday, niggas.
No. No, no. I'm taking a day off. That's not celebrating a holiday. Taking a day off is not proactively celebrating a holiday, right? There's also another holiday that's around about the same time of December 25th. It's called Saturnalia. It's a holiday or a celebration associated with the Roman Empire. I'm not doing that on December 25th either, right? And people who celebrate Christmas are not celebrating Saturnalia directly, right? So no, just simply because you're off. Your logic is horrible. Your logic sounds smart to dumb people, right? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, if you got your ass out there at that job, at FedEx, and you worked on Christmas, and fuck the white man holiday, fuck that shit, and they're gonna stay home and celebrate on the white man's holiday, and then you go to work, they're gonna give you overtime pay.
Where's the sales pitch? Watch.
I'm not going to take
Watch.
it. I won't take this dirty Christmas money. This is the white man's holiday. No, your ass is gonna take that money and buy you some jollof. Let's stop playing.
Where's the sales pitch?
So not all of them. There was a Taco Bell open over here by where I live, and Starbucks was open too because I ordered a coffee, and the motherfucker delivered it too. I ordered the coffee and somebody delivered it, and that motherfucker had on sandals. It was somebody who was not FBA. It was somebody with some sandals on and a soccer shirt who delivered my Starbucks. That same nigga who delivered my Starbucks probably got on the internet. Fuck these niggas celebrating the holiday. Hold on, I got a nigga delivery. Then you put on your elf hat and drive your ass and deliver the coffee, nigga, with your elf hat on. Talking about what you ain't gonna do. Fuck these niggas. This is some bullshit. Celebrating the white man holiday. I dare not to do that. Hold on. Jingle bells, here's your coffee. Happy holiday. Jingle all the way. Dancing through the snow, singing Christmas carols while you're delivering lattes, nigga.
Where's the sales pitch?
If you drove Uber, you celebrated the holidays because you were delivering Christmas food, nigga.
No, you were doing your job.
You ain't gonna do what you ain't gonna celebrate. You were delivering pumpkin spice.
His logic is horrible.
Y'all were delivering all of the pumpkin spice, snowman cookies, all that shit. That's celebrating the holidays. Y'all were delivering the hell out of them snowman cookies. Oh, you were celebrating. Yes, you were. By default. You're celebrating by default because we're in a prison. In the prison, you're going to do what they do in the prison. By default, you're forced to do it. You understand?
Where's the sales pitch?
It's Santa Claus and all that. You know, that's something different. But
where's the sales pitch?
Of the holidays, by default, if you're in the prison, you're going to go for the holidays. You have to by default.
Sales pitch.
You're not living on Plebiscite Island.
Where is it?
I don't want to hear no Christmas song.
Where is it?
The game, football game, Christmas games. I'm not going to watch that. I'm going to go to Plebiscite Island where I'm immune to anything to do with the holidays. So stop it. You're not in Plebiscite Island.
Okay.
Right?
Where's the sales pitch?
You're not. By default, you're celebrating the holidays. Don't get on my page talking about, are you celebrating Christmas? No, I'm not celebrating anything. By default, I'm in a system where Christmas is celebrated. So Christmas clothes are being sold. Yeah, I had on some snowman pajamas. They're holiday pajamas. And I said, Happy Kwanzaa. And he was like, fuck a Kwanzaa, nigga. Still the white man. Stop it. Let's stop it. Yes, by default, you are. Yeah, all that you don't refuse to do, let's stop it. Stop. If you got kids, you got your kids some presents. Yes, I got kids presents. I have babies. Of course, you're going to get your kids presents for the holidays. Of course you are. And some of these niggas talking about they didn't. I ain't getting no kids no presents. So, motherfucker, you didn't get your kids presents. You didn't get no presents for your kids because you don't pay child support. Right? Don't be one of them niggas. You know, motherfucker.
Wow.
It ain't like you doing something conscious by not giving your kids some toys, motherfucker. You just don't pay child support and you haven't seen your kids in 3 months. Okay, so,
wow.
You neglect your kids and you try to tie that into some conscious referendum or something. No, it don't work like that, nigga. You ain't seen your kids in months.
Wow.
You haven't bought your kids nothing. No, you
niggas laughing.
We all celebrate by default.
Niggas laughing at the institutional process of separating black men from their children, which is an institutional process dating back to slave times. He's laughing at that. Black empowerment, though. Black empowerment.
It controls you. It's prison, guys. Y'all better come to terms with that. Y'all can play this game all day. Just like in prison. I've been to jail before. In jail, you eat when they serve, for the holidays, when they serve some turkey. No, I want black folks to understand what the game is. People want to play this game. Niggas want to play the Plebiscite Island game. No, stop it. Let's stop conning each other. Like in jail, they give you turkey. Motherfuckers eat that turkey. That's celebrating.
That's not celebrating. That's eating turkey.
Christmas, right? So listen. So let's stop with the Plebiscite Island shit. All right? You don't live on Plebiscite Island. You're sitting right up here eating a pumpkin loaf. Yeah, watching the game at home with your family. You dig? With a Christmas sweater on. All right? Let's stop playing. And let's be real. I'm a historian. Now, look, if we want to get real, we can get real about certain things. We all know, and I broke this down before, St. Nicholas was based on a black man who's Turkish. From
Lord Jesus Christ.
St. Nicholas of Bari. So St. Nicholas was really black. Oh, we can break all this stuff down. So I already know.
Get the fuck out of here.
I already know all that stuff. Trust me, I already know. So let's not get silly. Some of you non-FBA niggas, y'all always trying to talk.
You're a historian from what university?
Look, by default, everybody celebrates a holiday. You can call it what you want, but your ass is going to be at home. Nothing else is open, and you're going to eat something that's Christmas-themed, holiday-themed. You think?
Get the fuck out of here.
You practice. In this system of white supremacy, you're going to be doing some holiday activity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing. The man who created Kwanzaa. Now, we do know that Karenga was connected. He was clicked in with the FBI, part of the COINTELPRO.
Exactly. But you saying Happy Kwanzaa, though.
Yeah, pumpkin loaf, holiday stuff. That's holiday.
Nigga, get to the sales pitch. I'm waiting.
By the way, go get the book Foundation of Black.
Told you. Exactly. So, exactly. What I tell you happens. He tickles your racism-induced generalized anxiety disorder, talking about, oh, the case with the juror, and you need to learn the little epithets and the little tips that I have when it comes down to the jurors, because it's going to affect your life if you're on a jury pool. Then he goes, that's the downside. Then he takes you back up the roller coaster again. Oh, well, I'm going to make all these little jokes about the holidays, and I'm going to make people laugh, and that's a nice little joke. And then when he comes back down, sales pitch. Then he does the exact same fucking thing again. He basically takes you down again, fucking around with your racism-induced generalized anxiety disorder, bringing your anxiety higher. Then he takes you back up the roller coaster by making a little joke. And when he brings you back down, he tries to sell you some shit. That's his fucking MO. And let's see if we can catch the roller coaster one more time. Let's see if we can catch it one more time.
There's a link below on Amazon. Y'all need to get that. Also, we got some great buck-breaking NFTs.
There you go.
About the NFT game.
More cultural store bullshit.
The NFT game is a real hot commodity right now. This is where you can buy certain digital items, and they will have monetary value. Potentially, the price will go up, and you can resell them later.
A whole bunch of institutionally impoverished people are going to engage in NFTs. Okay.
At our OpenSea page. We're also, when we got the new movie coming out, we're going to have some.
There you go. More shit. More shit.
But what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the divestment game. This is what we're going to talk about on today's broadcast. Hit that thumbs up button.
Yeah, fuck all that. So 21 minutes in, bullshit, sales, trying to make money. Yet, no talk of the museum, of the Hidden History Museum. No talk of anything that he plans on doing. No giving out information, no nothing. Yet and still, you got night school substitute teacher False over here talking about having the gall to call himself Black Media and having a video talking about some getting used to not getting or to not being used by people like Tariq Nasheed. Should have been the remainder of this headline, but instead, again, he would like to go into this whole Pepsi versus Coke bullshit. So when he does this type of shit, right, you know what it does? It actually helps Yvette Carnell. It actually helps ADOS. When they basically do this little back and forth thing, it's better for both of them, right? So when he throws these little shots right here in this little fucking video, all it does is it runs more traffic to Yvette Carnell because people are like, ooh, I guess, what is Yvette going to say? Is Yvette going to respond? Is she going to say something back? That's all he did. This shit is old as fuck. He's using this old ass example of us being used, and the Civil Rights Act of 1866 being basically obliterated by this individual, right? Or effectively neutered, right? Another person would have to go before the Supreme Court and competently argue for the usage of the Civil Rights Act of 1866 properly. But he's using this old-ass example when there's a current example right there in front of his face. Tariq Nasheed. But he's too bitch. He is too bitch to actually do it, to actually say it, to actually have it come out of his fucking mouth. He is too bitch-made to actually go against Tariq Nasheed. That's what it really comes down to. Even though the examples of him using and abusing his black fellowship is aplenty. Oh my damn. So again, I wanted to just come out briefly, quickly, and let the people, certain people know that, yeah, I'm still watching. I got other shit to do in my life. My life is very complicated these days. Very complicated these days. Trying to perfect, you know what I'm saying, my style when it comes down to music. You know what I'm saying? What is my style? What is my signature? Trying to perfect that. And I think I have it down. I've made some awesome beats, you know what I'm saying, recently. You know what I'm saying? Trying to perfect my relationships, right? Very rocky, considering I'm attracted to narcissists, right? But at the end of the day, I'm trying to do other things in my life. But at the end of the day, I still am waiting. I'm still watching this shit. I don't follow these people because I don't need further examples of the same shit over and over and over again, right? I know who, for instance, the bitch is. The black authorities, little bitch ass. I know who he is as a man. He's a bitch. He's a whiny little bitch trying to be Rush Limbaugh, trying to be basically being a wannabe Rush Limbaugh. I know who Professor or night school substitute teacher False is. He's basically a person with the side hustle that he calls Professor Black Truth Channel, right? I know who Tariq Nasheed is. He's a person trying to make as much money for him and his family, right, as much as possible off the backs of the black struggle. That's what he's doing, right? Black empowerment wins when Tariq Nasheed is thrown into the metaphorical ditch of black empowerment's history. When we no longer look to him for leadership or guidance within our culture, within our cultural movements, when we can say, hey, if you have even a whiff or even a smell or even a tinge of grift on you or in you, if we feel or suspect or even think that you're trying to monetarily gain off of us and our struggle, we no longer want to have any association with you, and we're going to start with Tariq Nasheed, that's when we win. But is night school substitute teacher False telling anybody that? No. He took an opportunity to beat a dead horse. Get the fuck out of here.